Hello and welcome to the another lecture on LLM and Agentic AI class. So in this lecture, we'll see some very important topic that so you know that we have created our chatbot, right? And then we have added some tools, right? We also give the memory, and then we also added some mechanism so that the summarization middleware happen, and then it does not limit to the context window size very quickly, okay? So now the other important thing is that what happened, let's say that intentionally or unintentionally, you give some sensitive information to the chatbot, okay? And then we don't want to give those kind of information, okay? So even let's say that in your application, maybe it's a not chatbot application, it's a healthcare application, right? So there are some identifiable information, right? Say personal identity, email, social security number, those things, credit card information. You don't want to send this to the model, okay? So we are going to apply some middleware, okay? So this is called PII middleware. So personally identifiable information, right? So how you can identify someone like with the SSN number or driving license or anything, right? The unique value, unique ID, right? So you want to detect and you want to perform some operations, like you can redact the value, or mask the value, or you just completely change the value to something else, right? Okay, so those are the actions we can perform, okay? So so this one we are going to apply, and then you can apply using the custom build. There are some custom build, like for example, the email, if you write the PI type is email, the model can already understand, okay? You can also build some custom one, like which using your regular expression, okay? So we'll see both using pre-build and then using regular expression, which is the custom build middleware, okay? So which can remove the identifiable information. Okay, so this is the one important part. The other important part is that it's a model fallback mechanism. So we know that we may have multiple LLM model, right? But if you just use one, you give your agent, and then what happened that your model somehow is not working. Either you reach to your limit, or the server of that specific model goes down, then but you may have some access to some other models. So that's you can use as a fallback mechanism. Okay. So it's basically you are making your application more robust, okay, and has some fallback mechanism as well, okay. So those are the things we will see, and obviously this will be hands-on. So we'll show you all of this thing, okay. So the fallback mechanism works like this. Say for example, this is your free open weight model that we are using. And then let's say that you have OpenAI model, and then let's say that first you want to give a very smaller model, like the micro model, which is basically the cheapest model, and then you can give the mini model. Okay, so if this one fail, then you can use this one, right? So this is basically you are also thinking about the cheaper option. Okay. Um, so these are the things we will do, right? So we already have the summarization middleware. We already have the, what else? We have some tools, right? So we added the weather tools, web search tool like Tavily, DuckDuckGo, right? So today we are going to add to our chatbot application the model fallback middleware, and then PII middleware, okay? So let's do that. And then for regular expression, we need to know a little bit regular expression. So we'll come back here later when we want to do the regular expression for creating the PII middleware. Okay, so let's go and we'll come back here. So let's go to our VS Code. Okay, let's go to my VS Code, and this is what we have done, right? So we have an agent. We keep the memory, and then we have the summarization middleware, right? and then it's triggered for this point, and then we summarize and keep these portions, and then we also give a set of tools, right? So this is what we have created. Now let's say that we want to add some more middleware, I just want to copy this one and create a new file. So let's go and create a new file, write agent with, let's say PIIM .python. Okay, so go and paste in here. So I'm going to modify here. Okay, so let's close this. Okay, so which one? Oh, okay, so now this one, right? This is the one that we just copied. Yeah. Okay, so I hope this one is working. That's what we did in the last class. So now let's say that first we'll see the model fallback mechanism. Okay, so let's say that this is our model from the grok is our, the free weights model. We are not paying anything for this. Let's say that's our primary model. Okay, so that's our primary model. And then we also create a fallback model. So let's say that this is our fallback model, back. This is 2 because I want to use the micro one as my first fallback model. So I say this is the micro. Okay, so you can also use from the grok or from Hugging Face. There are some many others open weights model that you can also use as your fallback model. Since I also have the access to the GPT, so OpenAI, because I sign up there, so I can also try their one as well. Okay, so now this is so I have 3 models. Okay, one is the primary model, and then so this one is the first fallback model, and this is my second fallback model. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to go and in the agent. Okay, so here in the agents, we can add another middleware. So we already have agents.middleware, summarization middleware. So we are adding here is the model fallback middleware. Okay. So now we'll say LLM. So this one is basically primary because there is no just LLM. And then in the summarization middleware, so we'll give the fallback middleware, because let's say that if our primary middleware model fail, that's what we want to try. So I'll give this one is that fallback one for the summarization. Okay. Now for the model fallback, so let's so this is the middleware attribute. So you have the summarization middleware. We can also call the other middleware, which is now we'll call model fallback middleware. Okay, so in the model fallback middleware, you basically want to give that what is your fallback, and you can give in a order. So first one is your first fallback, and then second one is your second fallback. So this will be my first model. Okay, that's my primary model, and then model fallback will use when this one is failed. So let's say that we use the LLM fallback 1, so that's my first fallback, and then LLM 2 is my second fallback. Okay, so so this is the summarization middleware, and this is the model fallback middleware. Let's go and check that my fallback middleware is working or not. Okay, so to see that which model is working, we can print some information here. Say, for example, instead of uses metadata, we can also print some other information. It's called the response meta information. Okay, so we can use response metadata. Okay, so the users metadata is basically we try to check that the tokens that we are using, basically to see for our summarization middleware. So now we want to focus on that the fallback middleware. Okay, so which model is working, right? So the response metadata will show you that which model is working and all this thing. Okay. So initially we'll see that, okay, this one should work because if this one is available, then it should be available, right? So let's go and run it first. So let's clear my screen and then I will go to here and then it's basically inside the agents. So I write agents, okay. And then now we can see agent with PIIM, okay. So this one I'm going to run. So I write ev run agent with PIIM, okay. So if you run it and then see, oh, okay. So the another thing is that when you are going to use some fallback model, okay, so so then you need to fix to some parameters which you cannot make a variable. So that's the another thing that you need to consider, okay? So that's what it's saying that, hey, since you are not using any fixed model, okay, so your model can vary, right? Because it can go to the fallback model. So we cannot just use fraction because it doesn't know which model it should take the fraction of. So we can instead of, we know that in the summarization middleware, if you see that you can give the context size as meshes, you can give as the tokens and then the fraction, right? So we can give this one as, say, let's say that how many messages, or we can give how many tokens that you reach. And let's say that when you reach to 8,000 tokens, and then we will keep the latest 5 messages. Okay, so this is, we have already discussed in the previous class that what are how these parameter things work. So in summarization middleware, previously we used a fraction, but you see that when you use the fallback model, fallback middleware, and it pass some model, it doesn't know that which model he should fixed with the fraction. So this one we can use the token and messages. So this one basically is independent of the model context window, right? So it can count and it can see that which one he should use. So now let's try with this after this changed, and that whether the model fallback middleware is working or not. So if I run it again, and says it's running, right? So what is your query? I said, hi there. My name is Nawaz. Okay. So now we'll see that which model is working, right? So here you see that since we are printing the meta information, so it shows that, okay, the model name is Llama. Okay, so the Llama model is working and it's give me information. Hello, Nawaz, it's nice to meet you. Okay, so now I want to see you that I want to show you that what happened. The model, this one is not available. Okay, so then whether the fallback model kicks on. So if I say, okay, so let's get out from this and we will intentionally give a wrong model name. Let's say that I write 1, 2, 3. So there is no such model that Llama 3.3 is 70 billion versatile 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I intentionally give a wrong name so that I want to check that whether this model now work. Okay, so let's see that if I want to go here and run it again, uh, let's see that, okay, let's say that weather in Peoria today. Okay, so this should actually call the tool, right? Okay, weather in Peoria today. And basically, I want to see that which model is working. Okay, so now you see that the model property is OpenAI and the model name is GPT 5.4 mini is working. Okay, that's interesting. I wanted to have the micro is not working. Okay. Nano, not the micro. Okay. So now let's see. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so whether the nano is responding and then I give a wrong name in here. Okay, so that was the problem. There was the name wrong was here, so that's why it's not responding. Okay, so that's good. I found something that's okay. Let's now exit and run. Hmm, it's basically nano. I wrote micro. Oh, yeah. So you see now the nano model is working. Okay. So our first fallback model, now what will happen like both of them? This is what I wanted to show you that whether order does matter. Let's say that both of them are active, okay? Nano and mini, okay? Both of them are right. There is no error in there. Now I give them order that first it should go to the nano model and then it should go to the mini model, okay? So remember, there is no micro, it's just mini and then nano, no micro in between. Okay, so let's go to here. And then and say hi there. And then I want to see that you see the nano, although we have the micro, no, sorry, we have the mini, but it didn't go to the mini. Okay, now I want to see that if I make a mistake in here. Okay, now whether it will go to the second fallback. Okay, this is my second fallback. Now, if I try high and it's go to the mini. Okay, so both of them were failed. The first one, second was failed, and you went to the third one. So you see that the model fallback is working fine. Okay, and then the one thing is that after mini is in GPT, they use nano, not micro model. Okay, but obviously you can go to the GPT documentation, OpenAI documentation to see what the right model name. Okay, so this one is clear. Let's see now. The next part is that PII middleware. Okay, so that one I'm going to show you the documentation first, but we can just import that one from the agents.middleware is the PII middleware. Okay, so this middleware, so I'll give you the link to this documentation. Okay, so this is the, so you see that these are the pre-built middleware. You just need to use it as you need. So this one is detect the personality identifiable information, right? So, so for example, you can pass that what type of PII you use and then what the strategy. You can do the reduction, you can do the masking, and whether it will apply to the input or the output, right? So those are the things. Okay, so let's apply our PII middleware here. So it should be inside the middleware list, right? So I write PII middleware, and then so you see that with the VS Code, we can easily get the doc string of this function. Okay, so first is the PII type, which is a string type, and then uh, you can write, okay, what is the type? Okay, so these are the inbuilt one. You can use email, credit card, IP address, MAC address, URL. Okay, and then the next one, it will be like what the action you want to perform. Okay, so whether you want to, if there is an email, whether you want to block it and then raise some error, or you redact it, or masking it, or give a hash. So that means it just completely change the value. Okay. And then other one is then where you want to apply, okay, whether you want to apply to the input or output or tool call, right? So those are the things, okay? So first thing first, let's write the PII type is, let's say that email. First, we want to use the email, okay? And then the next thing that we want to apply to, so what is the next thing? So what the strategy, right? So this is the second argument is the strategy, okay? What the strategy you want to perform. So the strategy that you can say that these are the options, right? You can block it, you can redact it, let's say that redacted. So it basically will not show you the exact email address. And then where do you want to apply, right? So say that you want to apply to input, output, or tool calls. And then I said apply to input is true. Okay, so that's we force it to apply to the input. So let's say that when you want to give an email, it's immediately will apply to here there, and then it will not go to your model. Okay, so after this one, and we can also add the others as well. So let's first try this one. Okay, so let's exit from here, and then let's run it with this one, and I write, hey, my name is, oops, my name is Nawaz, and email is nawazali@gmail.com. Okay, this is a fake email. But let's say that if I say this after adding this one, what he is saying. He said, okay, so now I give my name and my email. Okay, let's see that if I ask him, what is my name? What is my name? And he said, Nawaz. Okay, what is my email address? And let's see that whether he can give the email address. Okay, so sorry, I can't help you with retrieving or revealing email address. Okay, so that means strategy, we said redact, apply to input, so it's actually already applied, so that's why it's not giving me the email address, even I asking him. Okay, so now let's say that we can apply to some others. Okay, so but before that we can remove this meta information, because now we don't need it, because we already know that the fallback mechanism is working. So let's because this is just too much information here. Okay, so now let's say that we exit from here, and we want to, okay, and then let's say that I don't want to use my GPT model since it's using some money. Let's say that I want to use the Llama model, is the free words model. And now I want to add another, let's say I just copy this and then I write, okay, so give a comma here. So this one I want to use for, so if you want to see the doc string, you can see that you can do for credit card email. Let's say that if I write my credit card here, and then we say redacted, and then apply input to true. Okay, so let's say now we have email and credit card information, and then we want this if user even accidentally give this type of information, the model should redact it. Okay, so he should not memorize this kind of information, and he should not I mean, these things should not go to the model. Okay, so let's run this now. So like, hi there, my name is Nawaz, and my email address is nawazali@gmail.com, and my credit card information is 546789. I'm just giving some random number, that definitely is not a credit card. Okay, and then let's see that what it says. um, I'm happy to chat. However, I want to remember that's not a good destination. Especially this is protect security. Let's focus on friendly conversation. Okay, so you see that it says that he doesn't want this kind of information. Okay, let's see that if I say what is my email address. Okay, whether it is in his memory or not. Okay, what is my name? Okay. your name. What is my email address? I don't have access to your email address. You have mentioned it earlier. We don't store or record. Okay. So you had mentioned it earlier, but I did not store or record. I'm a chatbot. I don't have the ability to personal information like email address. Okay. So what is my credit card number? Okay. Did not store or record. Okay, so you see that. So the model is basically is not using those information. Okay, because we said that apply to input is true, so that means even going before going to that model is basically doing that. Okay, reduction. Okay, let's say that what if that if I don't give this one, and then how the model actually work. Okay, so let's say that if I don't give any PIM, okay, and I said, okay, let's say that if I exit from here, now if I run, and then I tell him my name and my email address, and then later I'll ask him what is my name. Okay, hey, my name uh, is Nawaz, and my email address is nawazali@gmail.com. Okay, don't worry about sharing an email address. Okay, what is my name? Okay, what is my email address that I told you? You see, your email address is this one. So now he's actually storing my email address, okay? But when I give the SPI middleware, when I activate this one, he will not store it, okay? So that's the difference, okay? Now let's say that, okay, I will, okay, let's say that I want to ask the same question, okay? What is your name? Okay, this is your email that I told you. Okay, let's say that this is exactly I'm going to ask after, so let's see that whether this one is working or not, okay? So now let's say that exit from here, and now I run it, and this time I'll say, and the same thing, and I'll check that whether the email is now not storing it, okay? So, hey, my name is Nawaz, and my email address is nawazali@gmail.com. Okay. So, you see, and don't worry, I have not shared emails, but I'll keep it private for outlines. Okay. Now, let's say that if I ask the same, what is my email address? And that I told you. Okay. And what it says. You did not actually share email address with me. You mentioned your email address is this. You see that this is the one is now you can see that the reducted is working, okay? So you see the strategy is reduct means that although I told him the email address, but he redacted that, okay? So now is you can see that actually this thing is working, okay? It's not coming from the model, but on top of the model, we are using the middleware, and that's why it's working. Okay, it's not inbuilt, but it's basically coming from the middleware. Okay, now I will show you that custom built middleware. Okay, so the custom built middleware. Let's say that I'll just copy this, and then let's say that this one is PII type. And I'll say that this one is not from, the built-in one, but I want to give, you can also write off your own. So for example, these are basically inbuilt. I say that I want to do this one for API key. Okay, so let's say that if I chat, in the chat, I give my API key. Okay, So then he will redact it. Okay. Strategy is redact. So you also need to give a, detector attribute because this is not the inbuilt one, right? So then how he can detect it? So here we need the regular expression, right? So the detector, so you write a regular expression, and then in the regular expressions, so we know that it's basically for the graph, the API keys start with ZSK, and in the OpenAI start with SK. Okay, since I'm using Z and Grok and OpenAI, so let's say that any API key related to Grok or OpenAI, if I want to write here, he will redact that. Okay, so so since I want to apply for both, so we can use this regular expression here, Z when what sign. So what means sign means is 0 or 1. Okay, 0 or 1. So that's why I said that we probably need the help of the regular expression. So for example, what means 0 or 1 occurrence? Okay, so either it can happen or not. So for example, here, what sign means that it can be this one could be true or this one also could be true. Okay, so whether you can use you or not. Okay, the star means 0 or more occurrence. So let's say that B star means that, okay, B can be none, or B can be one time or multiple times. Okay, plus means one or more occurrence. So that means that must be one. At least you should have, so like B plus, so must be B at least one time, okay, or it could be multiple time. But if you don't have it, so this is not matched. And then if you write this one at the end of it, so this is the exact occurrence, okay? How many exact occurrence happen? So like if you write 3 here, so that means this should be exactly 3 times, okay? The A should be 3 times, okay? So not 2 or not 4 times. And this is the in between, right? If you write 2 to 4, so that means A can be 2 or 3 or 4, okay? And not one time or not beyond 4. Okay, so this is A was 5 times, so it's not true. And this one is 1 time, this is not true. Okay, so this is basically some special symbol in the using in regular expression. Okay, so you also need to know about some other, so there are some other string for regular expression. So regular expression is basically the pattern matching, right? So you have a string and then you want to match a substring from that string. So that's where we use the regular expression. Okay, so let's see here. We know that, so we said that Z is used for Grok and not used for the OpenAI. So that's why I said Z and what sign. So that means it can be or not, but it's just one time, okay? And now followed by, it can be any alphabet A to Z. Uppercase could be A to Z. It could be number 0 to 9. And then it can be say underscore or hyphen. Okay. And then this can be, let's say that in between 16 to 32. Okay. So I know that OpenAI is 32 character long for the API key. Grok is almost same. That's why I give a range. Okay. So you see that if you give, okay, so it's a PI, API key strategy, and then, okay, I did not close this one, right? So it should be closed in where? Uh, here, right? Should be in here. Oh, comma. So that was missing. Okay. Apply to input is true. Okay. So that means if user give the input, then we want to redact that. Okay. So these are my another. So you see that you can use any kind of regular expression for applying to any sensitive information. So I'll just give you an example that I am using this one for API key. You can also use for, like, say, if it's a healthcare application, maybe you want to don't want to disclose the disease of a person, right? So you can apply it there as well. Okay. So now we'll see that after this one, okay, Okay, so let's exit and run it again. Okay. And then this is my API key. Okay, let's say that if I give him SK123 458978904568 at least 16, right? I should give at least 16 of them. Okay, and then I give some character as well, and then some number. Okay, so these are random. Okay, so now let's see that. I'm happy to say that I don't need your API key. It's so important to keep your API key secure. Share it there. Okay, and now ask what is my API key? What is my API key that I told you? Okay, so now it said that you type, this is the redacted API key. Although, I'm asking him, give me my API key, the one that I just told you, and he is not able to because it's applied, the reduction is applied to my API key. Okay, the same thing we can do if I use some others, like say, let's say that this one, I say mask. Okay, so if you want to do the masking operation, and then I don't want to type the same thing. Okay, so let's say that if I give this one again and then how he mask it, right? So let's say that what is your so I exit from here and then run it again, and then I tell him that this is my API key, and then I'll ask him, okay, so here is my API key, and then okay, what is my API key that I just told you? Okay, let's see that how is it. Now he say you see that he actually did the masking. Okay, so you see that he's not giving me the everything that I told you. So he applies some star. So that's the masking. Okay, so now you see that. Okay, so here I apply to input, right? You can also apply to output. You can also apply to the tools. Okay, so those are the things you see in the documentation. Okay, so if I see that where you can apply to input, apply to output, apply to tool results. Okay, and so you got an idea that how you can apply the personally identifiable middleware in different cases. I applied to email, credit card, and API key, and I showed you step by step that how it works. You can do the reduction, you can do the masking, or you can raise error if this kind of things is user is giving. Okay. Now the other thing is that the fallback model that's we also showed you. Okay, so the fallback model is basically that first it will try your primary model and then it will go to this in order. Okay, so if this model somehow is for example in here I just give the wrong name, but it could be happen that your API key is not there. Let's say that Grok API key is not available, then it should go to the OpenAI API key because these are the OpenAI model, right? So anyway, if your model is not available, then you can go to the other model. Okay, so these are the very important things when you want to create some application using LLM model. Okay, so I hope you understand. The other thing is that we are just printing this information to see that how these things are working, right? So for example, to see that which model is working or not, but we can use the LangSmith to trace this thing, okay? So that will be the next class focus that, okay, we want to connect this project to the LangSmith, and then the LangSmith can, show you that the tracing, right? So when you invoke the LLM, and then how much, which model is working, which tool call is happen, and then the latency of the response and all this thing. And even you can also create a dashboard where you can see that, the tracing, latency, and all this information, you can see it, okay? So those will be the focus of the next class. So that's it, and thank you very much. Stay tuned and please subscribe to get the updates and notification for the future uploads. Thank you very much and have a good one.